On Friday, in Venezuela, President Nicolás Maduro delivered a public statement after appearing before the Supreme Court of Justice in the process that looks into the electoral process in the country. In Israel, due to international pressure, the office of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced on Thursday the willingness to resume negotiations on a possible ceasefire in Gaza. And in Russia, several localities of the province of Libets have been attacked by Ukrainian drones on Friday morning. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR Studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. On Friday, in Venezuela, concludes the Supreme Court of hearings over July 28th election process, where candidates and representatives of political parties were summoned as part of a process of evaluation of the presidential elections. In this third and last day of appearances, more than 15 political organizations and 3 former presidential candidates and representatives appeared before the Electoral Court. In this regard, Frederic Villegas of the Centrados en la Gente party and the former opposition candidate Benjamin Rauseo for the Conde party already appeared before the Electoral Court. In this sense, President Nicolás Maduro and the Vice President of the United Socialist Party of Venezuela, Diosdado Cabello, also went to the Supreme Court. The President of Venezuela, Nicolás Maduro, after he appeared before the Supreme Court's electoral chamber in the investigation that looks into the electoral process of July 28th, President Maduro highlighted that he presented himself before the Supreme Court as a willing participant in the institutional process, different to other former candidates, while referring to the far-right candidate Edmundo González. He also highlighted that the representatives of his party, Diosdado Cabello, presented all necessary information as asked by the top court and underscored that he continues to be at the disposal of the court. The president underscored his willingness to continue to be at the court's disposal, highlighted the inconsistencies of the documents presented as supposed evidence by the far right, while they do not comply with one of the main institutions in the country, that is, the Supreme Court. The head of state assured that he answered all the questions asked by the country's highest court.
I am here alone, Nicolás Maduro, an ordinary citizen. I have answered the questions that have been legally asked to me. I have not shunned any question from the judges and magistrates. In this historic contentious appeal abided by this Constitution before the electoral chamber, 9 out of 10 candidates have appeared and complied with the law.
In Venezuela, the re-elected President Nicolás Maduro denounced that 83% of the alleged reports published by the far right are false, affirming that it is a strategy to stage a coup against the state. From the Miraflores Palace, the president stated that after a thorough analysis of experts who reviewed the web page created by Edmundo González, it was concluded that most of the alleged minutes are actually false documents. The head of state also announced that he signed a document proposed by the National Telecommunications Commission of Venezuela to suspend the social network X for 10 days on the grounds that it is inciting a cybernetic coup led by the United States.
Edmundo, traidor a la patria, sacó una página web.
Edmundo, traitor to the homeland, launched a website, and the groups of experts and specialists who reviewed the so-called minutes that are not minutes have determined that 83% of what was published are false documents. So he does not recognize the Supreme Court, he does not recognize the Electoral Council, he does not recognize anyone because this is a coup against the state, against Venezuela. It is a fascist coup. And we have to denounce it, face it, and solidify the popular victory against the fascist coup that is being attempted in Venezuela.
La victoria popular contra el golpe fascista que se pretende.
President Nicolás Maduro continues to receive the support of more sectors of the Venezuelan social forces. On Thursday, the communes took to the streets to defend the victory of their president. From Caracas, our colleague Roberto Hugo Presa with the details.
They are known as communards. They come from the different organized communities that decades ago were created by the former President Hugo Chavez. They took to the streets of Caracas to defend the project of the Eternal Commander, today under the responsibility of Nicolás Maduro.
The project of Commander Chavez was born, transferring it. It was clear that power had to reside in the people, that the people were the protagonists of their own history, of their own project for the construction of that homeland, of that community, of that municipality that we want, not the one they want to impose us. That is why today we are in the streets supporting the people and precisely our president, the maximum leader of the revolution, Nicolás Maduro Moro.
The organized communities are clear that the victory won at the polls must be defended in the street in order to guarantee the revolutionary project and the well-being of the Venezuelan families. Since that 2012, on October 20, 2012, when Commander Chavez spoke to the Communist or Nothing coup d'etat, when he told Nicolás Maduro that he was handing over the communists as his life, from that moment we understood that Commander Chavez did not hope in the sea, but transferred power to the people. But that he transferred power to the people. That is why we are here today defending the popular power to the communes, which is the vindication of the people. That is why we support the communists, and we give our support to Nicolás Maduro Moros, so that he may continue to strengthen the communities and the popular power. Thousands of commoners from several states of the nation marched to the Miraflores Palace, where President Maduro announced a new citizen consultation on August 25 to prioritize the needs of each community.
He continues to give power to the people, which is what he said, and many surprises will come, and that surprise is for those of us who are on the ground, those from below, those he always helps, the people's power and the communal councils and the commune.
In the last 2 weeks, different social forces mobilized massively to support the victory of Nicolás Maduro and condemn the coup attempts of groups financed by the ultra-right that was defeated at the polls on July 28.
Roberto Hugo Presa, TeleSUR, Caracas, Venezuela.
Let's take a short break, but remember you can join us on TikTok at TeleSUR English, where you will find news in different formats, news updates, and more. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Israel, due to international pressure, the office of the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced on Thursday the willingness to resume negotiations on a possible ceasefire in Gaza. The proposal, which had been promoted by Qatar, Egypt, and the United States, will be considered by the Israeli negotiators as of August 15th. The mediators have indicated that there is already a framework of agreement to which only small details need to be adjusted. They ratified that there is no time to lose and that none of the parties has any excuse to continue delaying it. After 10 months, this new round of negotiations is taking place in a context of growing tension following the assassination by Israel of the Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. Meanwhile, on Friday, Israeli genocidal forces announced the onset of another offensive against the Ras Khan Yunis in southern Gaza. A few hours earlier, the onslaught on the neighborhoods, the occupying troops ordered the evacuation and stated they were fighting off Hamas on the ground and underground. Israeli forces bulletins further confirmed at least 30 airstrikes in which they claim numerous fighters have been slaughtered. However, the latest medical reports registered plenty of civilians killed, including, as usual, many women and children. The Israeli occupier revealed that the troops' main target is to prevent Hamas from reaffirming in the southern Gaza Strip. Also in Palestine, the Israeli occupation forces simultaneously launched shellings on the center, north and south of the Gaza Strip, killing civilians. Palestinian health authorities reported that Israeli airstrikes killed at least 5 civilians and left several wounded on the Nusayrat and Maghazi refugee camp in central Gaza, while in Khan Yunis and Rafah in the southern Gaza Strip, the occupation forces bombed a house, claiming another 3 lives. Authorities claimed that dozens of the victims remain under the rubble awaiting rescue teams. On Friday, United Nations Human Rights spokesperson Jeremy Lawrence referred to the stance of the High Commissioner concerning the statements provided by Israel Finance Minister Smotrich.
The High Commissioner is shocked and appalled by the words of Minister Smotrich, according to whom letting 2 million Palestinians in Gaza starve to death could be justified and moral in order to free hostages. Such statements, especially by public officials, must cease immediately. They must be investigated, and if found to amount to a crime, must be prosecuted and punished.
On Friday, Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida suspended his work schedule in Central Asia after the National Meteorological Agency's expert committee announced a possible mega-earthquake in Japan's Kanto region. Prime Minister Kishida had scheduled to open the first summit of the Central Asia plus Japan dialogue in Kazakhstan, in addition to a visit to Uzbekistan and Mongolia, which he postponed following the seismologist's forecast of a 7.1 magnitude earthquake in the Hyuja Sea on Thursday. In this sense, the experts assured that if the seismic activity in the region continues, a mega-earthquake could occur in the area between Kanto and Kyushu, causing more than 320,000 deaths and about 10 million displaced people. In South Africa, at least 2 people were missing and severe flooding after 2 dams collapsed in Riverlands and Chatsworth in the southern province of Western Cape. According to authorities, 2 check dams over the Riverlands Dam in the Switzerland Municipality District, Cape Town, collapsed in the early hours of this morning, with the risk of a 3rd dam collapsing with the enormous volume of water flowing into the dam. According to the Meteorological Service of South Africa, the environmental conditions in the province could become more complicated with the entrance of a cold front in the next few days, which will increase the volume of water accumulated on the ground. Deforestation of the Brazilian Amazon rainforest skyrocketed for the first time in 15 months. The National Institute for Space Research detailed that the devastated areas in the rainforest were 666 square kilometers in July, surging by 33% of the 500 square kilometers destroyed in July 2023. In this regard, the July increase disrupts a sequence of a 15th month downward trend, where the reduction of deforestation compared to the previous period was 45.7%. Meanwhile, the Brazilian government underscored that the July upsurge was due to the activities such as livestock and illegal mining. Russian troops expelled Ukrainian forces from the Kursk region. The Ministry of Defense reported over 900 Kyiv military deaths from the attempted offensive. The northern troops and reserves frustrated the attempts of the Ukrainian units on the Russian territory. According to the lately reports from Moscow, the total Ukrainian losses amounted to 945 military. Only in the last hours, the Russian troops neutralized 280 servicemen loyal to Kyiv. They further registered that 102 armored vehicles, including 12 tanks, 17 armored personnel carriers, and 67 armored vehicles, were destroyed. In this regard, during a meeting with members of his cabinet, President Vladimir Putin announced plans to meet with senior defense and security officials to address the issue.
We will have to start with the events unfolding in the Kursk region. As you know, the Kiev regime has launched another large-scale provocation. It is firing indiscriminately with different types of weapons, including rockets at civilian buildings, residential houses, and ambulances.
We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English, there you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcasting, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. The National Institute of Anthropology and History of Mexico is holding its 35th edition of the International Anthropology Book Fair. On this occasion, the thematic axes are cultural heritage and sustainability. Antonia Aranda, our correspondent, has the details.
Conferences, workshops, book presentations, music, dance, and cinema are part of the dozens of activities that take place during the International Anthropology Book Fair. The National Museum of Anthropology is the site of this meeting that has as special guests the state of Quintana Roo and Belize.
Toda la gente busca cosas de México, el libro de segunda mano en buen estado.
All the people are looking for things about Mexico. Second-hand books in good condition, books about Mexico, about archaeology, about popular art, about the regional history, about the history of the states, Oaxaca, Chiapas, Jalisco, all the states. And people look a lot for the regional history of Mexico. Here, in the Anthropology Fair, they look for the Mayan Codex, the Borgia Codex, the Bourbon Codex. All that they are looking for, there is a lot of demand.
El Códice Borgia, el Códice Borbónico, todo eso lo buscan, tiene mucha demanda.
The main theme of the cultural meeting is cultural heritage and sustainability, he explains.
La Feria del Libro de Antropología e Historia por ser un encuentro particular.
The Anthropology and History Book Fair, being a particularly academic meeting that deals with current issues, every year fundamental questions are raised. A thematic axis in which converges all the academic forums that take place here and also that are related to the guests of honor. On this occasion, Belize and Quintana Roo. Belize is a very close brother country, which at some point we share the civilization trunk called the Great Mayan Nation, with we share roots and cultural values, and Quintana Roo is one of the youngest states of the Federation, but it has a lot of history in issues such as social resistance. There was caste war. There are a lot of cultural elements and native people on which it's important to discuss.
Special guests bring with them a sample of their flavors, landscapes, traditions, and stories, another way of preserving cultural heritage.
I'm seeing that those who are growing up now don't take it into account and don't eat it when we prepare it. Our grandchildren, our children don't eat it because we should teach them when they are young. I thought I had to take my steps to get it up and walk with those foods.
During 11 days, attendees will be able to enjoy special prices on books and 400 academic and artistic activities totally free of charge. The conservation of cultural heritage in Mexico and other Latin American countries also allows communities to obtain sustainable resources thanks to these sites.
Antonio Aranda, TeleSUR, Ciudad de México.
Ecuador celebrates a new Olympic medal achieved by Lucia Yepes in women's wrestling, writing a new page in the history of the discipline.
23-year-old Lucia Yepes, known as La Tigra, won the silver medal at the Olympics in Paris, a historic medal for Ecuador, the first in the discipline of wrestling at 53 kilograms.
I am very happy because the triumph is mine. I am in Olympic silver. I celebrated with all my people in the audience, and we are going forward. I am very happy and I already believe that I am an Olympic medalist. Last night I was like, I am not, and it really cost me a lot. I cried a lot and I suffered a lot.
In the last bout, Lucia left all her effort in the wrestling area against the Japanese. Although she did not obtain the required score, she won the silver medal, a maximum award to the journey and overcoming of the athlete.
She's only 23 years old, and all that she has achieved, I believe that she has no limit. I believe that the limit is in the attention she's given, in the priority she's given, in the conditions she's given. Because now there is an important economic prize that is very important and necessary, but the attention, apart from the economic prize, is also very important.
With this triumph, Ecuador wins its third Olympic medal in Paris, a victory that is tirelessly celebrated by his family. In his second Olympic Games,
it is something that she always wanted to achieve. It is not easy to win a silver medal in the Olympic Games, and she did it, and I feel very proud of my daughter who got where she did.
Lucia not only defeated opponents throughout her short sports career, she also fought and overcame economic difficulties. Now, she achieved an Olympic victory, fulfilled her dream, and thanks to this, she will fulfill her mother's dream.
Of course, she called me and told me, Mommy, I'm very happy, and it is a dream, and we are going forward.
Lucia Yepes is now the first female wrestler to win an Olympic medal, writing a new page in Ecuadorian sport.
We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram and TikTok. For TeleSUR English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.